love the British self-deprecation. It's the best.
Well, that's all you're going to get on this show.
If he ever plays again, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Baltimore.
Dez Bryant to Baltimore.
Well, Dave Hellman. Do you know my father-in-law?
I know your father-in-law well. He takes embarrassing videos of me on the reg.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are here draped in Dallas Cowboys merchandise. We've got Troy Aikman, we've got Roger Staubach, we've got Emmitt Smith. We've got it all for the one and only David Hellman coming in. He's a columnist, he's a staff writer on DallasCowboys.com, he's a podcaster, he writes Gut Feeling. If you're a Dallas Cowboys fan and you don't follow this man on Twitter, then you're not a Dallas Cowboys fan. I was just admiring your artwork on the walls. Who's that LSU player?
That is Patrick Peterson.
Patrick Peterson. He was number 7, wasn't he? And then he gave it to Tyrann Mathieu, and then Mathieu got kicked out, and then he gave it to Leonard Fournette. I've checked my history.
There you go, bro.
You are 100% right. Yeah, that is really, I love it. Y'all know your shit.
We went over there in 2014, and I was blown away by how many knowledgeable football fans there are over there. It was crazy.
Yeah. Did you come over for the Cowboys game?
Yeah, Cowboys-Jags like 6 years ago.
Oh, but that was fun. Was it shitting it down with rain?
No, it wasn't pouring, but it was like that just permanent damp feeling, you know? Like
oh, yes, I'm well aware.
Very familiar.
Yeah. We ran out of batteries for the podcast, right, to walk out in the rain just now. So, yeah.
I love the British self-deprecation. It's the best.
Well, that's all you're going to get on this show. Wall-to-wall self-deprecation.
Yeah.
I love this show already. It sounds like it's right up my alley.
I think right off the top, I'm gonna take you back to your youth. Why the Dallas Cowboys? You were born in Louisiana, correct?
Yeah, no, that's actually, it's a funny question. I get that a lot, and if you want me to be brutally honest with you,
the Saints are awful.
I was not a Dallas Cowboy fan. I was a Saints fan my whole life. I grew up in New Orleans. I loved the Saints. Even when they were terrible, I cared way too much about them, seeing as how they never won.
Who was your Saints quarterback?
Gee, I mean, we can go Billy Joe Tolliver. We can go Jeff Blake.
Jeff Blake, Shaken Blake. Love it. That's a brilliant reference off the top.
And you know, like we thought we were hot stuff when we got Aaron Brooks. Like he was the first Pro Bowl quarterback,
boy, number 2
that we ever had. The Saints were hot trash for most of my childhood. And like we would get excited, like the way that the Cowboys get excited about like winning a Super Bowl, we got that excited about like just making the playoffs because it never happened.
Oh yes, the life of a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
You were a Louisiana, New Orleans native fan, and then you started working with the Cowboys, and Jerry Jones said, "We're changing that right now."
I went to college for journalism. I just wanted to write about sports. I didn't care who I wrote about. And I was lucky enough to wind up in this job. I was like, oh yeah, like I guess it's the Cowboys now. And that's, a lot of people don't really understand the way that works. Like people will ask me, well, yeah, you cover the Cowboys, but like you still watch the Saints, right? And I'm like, how would I do that? They play on the same day. Like the Saints and Cowboys are playing at the same time. Like, I don't have time to pay attention to what the Saints are doing.
We are very much like British fans because it's on at like 4 o'clock in the morning here.
Oh yeah, I don't, dude. I've been over there. I told you all that before we started. We went over there in 2014, and y'all are absolutely insane. Like to wake up at 3 to watch the games, or to stay up until 3 to watch the games. I remember the Cowboys played the Jaguars. I guess it was probably like 3 p.m. local time the game started. So cover the game, write about it, go back to the hotel at like 11:12, and the night game was just kicking off. And I was like, there's no way I'm staying up for this. Like, y'all are nuts.
And it's funny when they do the international games, because if you're doing fantasy in the States, the games start at 8 o'clock in the morning. So if you forget to look in your lineup the night before, you wake up and the game's finished.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. You're condemned to your terrible picks.
I admire anybody who can follow a sports league on the other side of the world.
When you went to LSU, I had a question about this, because you arrived just after the GOAT Jamarcus Russell left.
Hail.
Right? So when you were visiting, did they take you to a Tigers game and were like, this is our quarterback?
You know what's actually, so I started at LSU the year after, good research, the year after Jamarcus left.
Hey.
And I did go to some games with my girlfriend at the time.
So you saw the GOAT throw live?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like the funny thing is, this is how long ago that was. LSU, the first LSU game I ever went to, they just kicked Alabama's ass. Like it wasn't even competitive. And Alabama was trash. They were like a 500 team. And I was like, oh yeah, like LSU's got this in the bag. And fast forward 15 years, and obviously that's not the case anymore.
So you turned up to LSU during the football doldrums because
Yeah.
you just had the peak of Jamarcus Russell, and long in the distance, a glint in the eye of Ed Orgeron. Joe Burrow is miles away, so you're in the right middle.
I don't want to say your connection to the university was directly related to their failure on the sports field, but it does coincide rather coincidentally.
No, I won't stand for that. I won't stand for that. Because actually, we did lose Jamarcus. We lost Jamarcus, but the next year, my freshman year, we won the national title. We just didn't happen to have a great quarterback. We had Matt Flynn, who would go on to be
Flynn,
famous.
all hail, the free agent,
Yeah.
Wonder Boy. 3 years, $20.5 million. And then they went to the draft and thought, we've got our guy. We don't need to take a quarterback that high. Who's this in round 3? Russell Wilson. Russon.
From Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Well, go on then. We'll have Rice Wall Wooswan.
The most successful thief in NFL history, Matt Flynn, just fleeced $30 million out of the NFL.
The Seattle
for being
Seahawks.
Like, okay.
When
yeah,
they had a young man named Risewell Wooswam, who they took in the 3rd round.
Amazing.
I respect his hustle.
Were you always an LSU fan then? Were you always like, I'm going to LSU because I love the Tigers? Or was it another case of, hey, I just want to go to college with my girlfriend and watch Jamarcus Russell throw a ball around?
I'm close to mum and dad.
I grew up a big Florida Gators fan.
Really?
Yeah.
Tear
I
it
grew up
down! Bring the Gators
No.
stuff out.
No, it's all founded on a lie. You're like, oh, the Cowboys and LSU, and I'm like, actually, it was the Saints. And
Get the
Florida.
Saints and the Gators stuff. Switch it up. We'll go on pause. Cut to break.
When you want to bring out real taste, bring out the Hellman's Real Mayonnaise.
Bring out the yays, bring out the praise for the one best mayonnaise. Bring out the Hellman's.
Reddit's going crazy. Reddit's got breaking.
I wasn't a good enough student to get into Florida, and number 2, LSU was like, hey, we'll let you come here for free.
Oh, amazing.
And I was
'Cause
like,
it's in-state.
yeah, in-state tuition here is a big thing. So I was like, oh, so I can just move 60 miles up the road and party and have a good time, and I don't have to pay tuition? Yeah, let's do that. Nobody wants to be that dick. Like, if I'm going to go to LSU, I'm going to root for LSU.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not
exactly.
gonna-
I support
I'm not
the
gonna-
Gators.
Wait. Do
Yeah.
people actually do that? They turn up on Sundays
yeah.
in a completely different
Oh, yeah.
coloured shirt. What a dickhead.
No, there are people that'll be like, well, I decided to go to school here because it's cheap or whatever, but like, I love my old team.
Like
I'm
Crimson
you're an
Tide
asshole.
all the way. Surely they just
Yeah,
get
you're-
just pelted at the game.
I made the switch when I was like 17, and I obviously really leaned into it. So
Was there any, like, I've always been fascinated about this, and no one's ever been able to give me a straight answer. Like, at huge football colleges like LSU, Alabama, I don't know, Georgia, do you just was like Tyrann Mathieu in your calculus class? You're just like, oh, what's up, dude?
They
Oh,
don't
yeah,
go to
for sure.
classes.
no, honestly, that's you're absolutely right. Like the short answer is yes, but the long answer is like when they show up. Sure.
Right, so they don't really show up.
You might be like, on test days, you'll be like, oh yeah, like there's Honey Badger, and then he disappears for 2 weeks, or something like that.
So let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. If you know anything about the Dallas Cowboys, Mr. Saints fan. Was it literally a case of like you got a job with the Cowboys and then you just had to become a Cowboys fanatic to do your job as well as you do it?
Yeah. I mean, if you do this job, you don't really have a choice but to be up to your eyeballs in Cowboys stuff at all times. I mean, it is the air I breathe. It's what I talk about. Like
Right, because you do
12 hours a
mailbag,
day,
gut
or-
feeling, podcasts. It's just
Yeah.
never ending. I've looked at all your stuff and it's incredible.
I do 2 podcasts every day during the season. I write at least 1, if not 3 stories. I cover every game. I mean, it's a 50, 60, maybe sometimes 70 hour a week job during the season.
Same as us.
Yeah, we do. We feel your pain, mate.
Yeah, but instead of podcasts, we're doing 3 rounds of Mario Kart 64 a day.
Hey, Rainbow Road forever.
Yeah!
It is a nonstop thing, especially during the season. And honestly, like there isn't an off season either because the draft is a bigger deal than
Right.
it just gets bigger every single year. So we do a podcast that starts in January for a draft that happens in late April. So you got a lot of
That's a long podcast, mate. That's a 5-month
Yeah.
podcast. You might want to break that into hour slots. It'll probably be easier to consume. Okay, I've got a question about breaking stories. Do you feel a responsibility to cover stuff first? Do you get annoyed when you get scooped? And how hard of a life does Ian Rappaport have?
Oh wow.
Posting about manscaping.
Free rap sheet. It's such a weird landscape, honestly. Like breaking news it's almost a dead art because the internet has ruined it. You know, like back in the day, if you got a scoop, you could beat all the other outlets by 2, 3, 4, maybe even 24 hours. You know, you get it in the paper for a whole day before the other newspaper has it. And now if you scoop somebody, then you have it for like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Well, that's the amazing thing is like, it's not just people who are, you know, accredited or writing for DallasCowboys.com or writing for NFL.com. Like the thing with the Titans last week, that got broken by some guy's blog who just took pictures of them at his local.
Well, and also, yeah, exactly like when Jamal Adams was visiting in Dallas and some guy saw him in his truck. And
Yeah,
then
exactly.
all of a sudden
Hey,
it's
what's
like,
up, Jamal?
Jamal Adams is coming to Dallas.
Hey, what's up, bro? Hey, you coming to Dallas? All right.
And that's what, like, in this landscape, don't let my bosses hear this. I guess I shouldn't say it on a podcast, but like, I don't stress out that much about breaking news. It's more so once the news is out there, like, you know, analyzing it, putting context on it, giving people an informed and educated opinion about why it matters or why it doesn't matter. I think I do that really well.
And you're right, you do that very well, and I think that's why. And if you could explain this or unpack this for us, the fervor for Dave Hellman on our Cowboys on Reddit is unbelievable. I think that's a testament to you, you know, your analysis and your breaking down of things, but it's incredible.
No one is liked on Reddit apart from narwhals and stapling bread to trees. Yet you have risen above.
And bacon.
And
bacon.
Well, who doesn't like bacon?
I am a journalist who embraces the internet. You know, like I want to talk to fans. I want to read people's comments. Yeah, like you just made a great point. Somebody with their smartphone can break news in 2020, you know? So I feel like a lot of people kind of look down on fans as less than because they're not in the know. I want to be part of the conversation and I want fans to feel like I can be approached because just because you're not part of the media doesn't mean you don't have something interesting to say. So I love going on Reddit and seeing what those guys talk about. I value those opinions and those insights if they're good. It started as a bit where I would tweet like, hey, our Cowboys, like, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then I go to Reddit like an hour later and they're like, oh my God, he's talking about us. I pay attention. Like,
Yeah.
So do you lurk there?
I didn't have a handle for the longest time. I just didn't.
So you're a real lurker.
Oh yeah. Oh, hardcore. I created a handle at the beginning of the season because I did an AMA. It's not interesting. It's just like, hi, I'm Dave. I think that's what I settled on or something like that.
Hi, I'm Dave.
Hi, my name's Dave.
Yeah.
But
Little Dicky beat you to the punch on that one, bro.
I go over there at least once a day just to see what they're talking about.
That's awesome. That's a scoop. That's a scoop for us.
Yeah, Reddit. Look
At
at that.
Reddit, Dave Hellman is checking you out once a day. Well, not
Keep
checking
it
you
up,
out.
guys. Keep it
Keep up the good work, or sometimes bad work, whatever. Just keep it up. Way to go.
Favorite vintage Dallas Cowboys player?
Favorite vintage Dallas Cowboys player? I love Darren Woodson. He's a super duper nice guy. He's obviously an amazing safety. But I've gotten to know him a little bit because he's around a lot. He's hung around the team in his retirement. He's just a super nice guy.
Why is it that 50% of every Hall of Fame safety's got the surname Woodson?
Yeah, it's true.
Rod,
man.
Charles.
Yeah. And they're tied for interceptions. And
really? The
career.
Woodson gang?
Imagine how annoying that would be if you were the elite level in your sport. Name Woodson, most career interceptions ever in the NFL. And
then Charles comes along.
Someone else has tied it with your same last name.
Okay, favorite current Cowboys player?
Oh, I mean, it's cliche, but it's got to be Dak.
Yeah.
And that's what made Sunday so tough. Is I've gotten to know him really well. You know, I've covered his entire career. I was here when he got drafted. I was here, you know, before anybody really gave a damn about him.
When he took over from Tony, when everyone was giving him crap.
And people were getting in the back of his shots in the gym, I believe.
Yeah, that was me. No, but I love that photo so much because it's easy to forget now, but like he was not a big deal.
No.
When Dak got drafted, Zeke and Jalen Smith were in that draft class, and they were the only two people that anybody wanted to talk to. Dak was kind of an afterthought. And to see where he is now, and on top of that, like he's been the same guy the entire time.
Yeah.
Super engaging, super humble, legitimately cares about people. He's one of the true good dudes that I've ever worked with.
You might want to give him some tips on Twitter because all he tweets is #ad. Just various adverts.
I'm waiting for him. I'm waiting for him to say something to me one day because it's gotten to the point where like I actively make fun of him on Twitter, where like because he doesn't he just promotes stuff on Twitter. He doesn't actually have a personality on Twitter, which is. It's a shame because he's pretty authentic on Instagram. Like he'll post stuff on Instagram that's real, but he just doesn't use Twitter that way.
Number 88. You can have one, Michael Irvin, Dez Bryant, or CD Lamb. Who are you taking?
Are we just talking about individuals? Because like Irvin has the Super Bowls, and that's what everybody wants.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't pick CD right now because it's so early. But I mean, he's more than lived up to the hype. I'm very excited about him. I'm biased, but I have to take Dez because I covered his career too. I know these guys, and I always loved working with him. So
and what happened to Dez Bryant?
Yeah, how is he?
But he just kind of disappeared because it was like he got.
No, if you follow him on Twitter, he's ready to get onto another team, right? He's still training.
I have heard some whispers like he's got some stuff on the table. I don't know if he's just waiting for the right opportunity or waiting for somebody to have a need.
Breaking news, David Hellman announces Dez Bryant to sign with Jets. Book it. Put it on Reddit.
There's no way Dez is, because there's a lot of risk. He's 31 now. He's coming off an Achilles. He's not going to go somewhere that's going to make him look bad.
Where might he go, Dave? Just wink twice for Jacksonville.
If he ever plays again, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Baltimore. That's just a guess, though.
Watch this YouTube video be clickbait titled Dez Bryant to Baltimore.
Dave Hellman.
Dave
Hellman confirms.
Right, we are ready to play the stupidest game ever made. Please, Christopher, you have the floor.
Dave, I don't know if you're familiar with our previous games. We thought we'd reach the mountaintop with Barrett or Carrot, our game with Shaquille Barrett, where he had to identify the difference between himself and a carrot.
Jack Barrett, which is it? Carrot or Barrett?
This one gotta be a carrot.
Unfortunately, this one is the trick question, and it's both. How did you get a carrot in the Georgia Dome? How did you manage that?
Hey man, Bugs Bunny go bad.
Drum roll, please.
If aliens came down to Earth after we've ruined the planet and killed ourselves, and they tapped into the digital archive, stumbled across this video with Dave Hellman, they will triumphantly hold this atop the mountain as the greatest piece of game wordplay that the human race ever came up with.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to play Hellman's Yay or Nays.
That is a very genuine cackle.
Dave Hellman's Yay or Nays. His second name sounds like mayonnaise, so let's play. This week on Dave Hellman's Yay or Nays, we have Dave Hellman saying yay or indeed nay.
That is a very genuine cackle because I knew it was going to be a mayonnaise joke, and I just didn't know how it was going to happen.
Right.
We'll launch into it.
It's basically a true or false game. I will pose Dave Hellman various points, and he can say yay or nay whether they're true or false.
Grab yourself a spoon of mayonnaise and lock in.
Can you name at least one mayonnaise-based player? And by mayonnaise-based player, I do not mean Carson Wentz / his knees.
Mayonnaise-based player. Duke Johnson. Does that count?
Explain.
Duke's is a mayonnaise brand here.
Oh, he's absolutely done you.
Interesting.
He's done you. We were looking for Gerard Mayo, but you've just absolutely nailed it.
Oh, I mean, maybe I'm cheating because Duke is a pretty common name.
Question number 2. There is a place in the UK called Mayo.
Oh, that's got to be yay. That has to be yay. No?
Oh, it's a nay, I'm afraid.
Mayo is in the Republic of Ireland, which is in Europe.
I take issue. There's so many stupidly named things.
To be fair, there are.
Question 3. 1913 was the year that Hellman's Mayonnaise was founded. It was also the same year that LSU beat Auburn.
I'm going to say yay, and the score was probably like 3-0. I don't know.
One field goal.
Very close. The score was 7-0.
Oh, there you go.
Stratospheric. But unfortunately, you guys lost to Auburn in 1913.
Failed to even make a field goal.
Yeah, right. Question number 4. Hellman's, the mayonnaise, is available throughout the continental United States.
Coast to coast.
That has to be yay. I would say it's probably the most popular mayonnaise brand in America. So yes.
Dave Hellman. You should be right. Unfortunately, I'm going to hit you with some knowledge here.
You're shitting me.
HELMAN's is only sold east of the Rockies. Specifically in the states of North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Nebraska. West of the Rockies, it's called Best Foods Mayonnaise.
That's a lie. That can't be true.
The absolute sincerity of the, you're shitting me. We're talking about mayonnaise. That really got me.
It's the only mayonnaise I ever see when I go anywhere.
Do you ever go west of the Rockies? How often do you go west?
Not as often as I would prefer.
Reddit, respond where you are. Is it
HELMAN's
mayonnaise or
HELMAN's?
And which is better? Who
Let
knows?
us know, Reddit.
Here's one for the worldwide market. Around the world, it's called Burger King, but in Australia, it's called Hungry Jack's.
What?
Yep.
Is that real?
Yeah, same
No
logo,
way.
same logo and everything.
What with the king?
Dave HELMAN, yay or nay? In 2013, Americans spent $2 billion on mayo, more than on any other condiment, including ketchup.
My gut says to say nay because Americans love ketchup more than anything, but I feel like it's probably a fake out, so I'm going to say yay.
Dave HELMAN, that is correct.
Correct. He spotted the flea flicker and smashed through the line.
That was a ketchup-covered herring right there. You can get rid of head lice by mayonnaise application.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably true. I've never had lice, but that sounds like something you might do. I don't know. Yeah.
That is correct.
And we forged to 3-3, back to 500.
Here we go.
We're on our way back.
This could be the greatest comeback on one of our stupid games we've ever seen. Colleen Wolfe and Shaq Barrett stormed
This
it.
is a fourth quarter Tony Romo-esque comeback from earlier in his
Just
career.
don't drop the field goal snap.
Hard field goal attempt. Oh, it is fumbled by Romo, and then Romo's going to run to the end zone, and he's going to get tackled.
Devastating.
Mayonnaise can make your houseplants shine for weeks.
What, if you just rub it on the leaves?
Yay.
That is correct. If you mix mayonnaise with water and then rub it on the leaves of your houseplants, not shown here, they will be shiny for weeks.
Obviously they will, because it's mayonnaise. Oh, fantastic. Who cares? 4-3.
What does that say about like what we're putting in our bodies that this has this application?
Yeah, I like to imagine the home gardener that's just gone through their entire condiment cabinet trying, nope, that doesn't make them shiny. That doesn't make them shiny. Mayonnaise.
Soy sauce doesn't work, makes them brown.
Jerry Jones was teammates with Jimmy John's CEO and Cowboys coach Jimmy Johnson.
That part's not true. The Jimmy John's part's not true.
Oh, okay. There we go. That was the fake out.
All right.
So that is obviously correct. Jimmy Johnson has nothing to do with Jimmy John's. But they were together. Arkansas 64 won a national championship. Okay, we got moving into the last one. So you're doing very well
5-3. We can't lose.
I'm a second half guy.
It's okay to spill mayonnaise on both the Cowboys and LSU Tigers home uniforms.
That's a good one.
Nay, absolutely nay.
We were going to test your knowledge of uniforms there because LSU and the Dallas Cowboys are the only teams which are allowed to play in white as their home jerseys.
As soon as you gave me that look, you're like, oh, you're stupid. I was like, oh, he's making a comment about how they wear white at home. That's what's happening.
5-4. We still have a winning record. We're still going to the playoffs. We're still happy.
And so it hinges on this, basically. One last question. Do you know my father-in-law?
Nay?
Let me tell you that my father-in-law is Jay Johnson, trainer of the cheerleaders for the Dallas Cowboys and star of Making the Squad.
You're kidding me.
Do you know my father-in-law?
I know your father-in-law well. He takes embarrassing videos of me on the reg, or he did before the pandemic. Really?
Yeah. Legitimate father-in-law.
Small world, man. Yeah, Jay's the homie. Jay lives like 2 miles away from me here in Dallas.
Your glutes, your shoulders, okay? On the very first movement, what she'll do is go ahead and bring her ankle over her kneecap.
Can you imagine him being your father-in-law?
No, I cannot. That sounds exhausting.
No, but I'm just like, if your father-in-law goes, do you want to meet the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders? You do not say yes.
That's a weird person to meet the cheerleaders with.
Yeah.
I'm just there, Admiral Akbar, like, it's a trap. I was like, no, I'm fine with your daughter. Thank you, sir. And I'll be backing away.
The wordplay was just absolutely incredible. Well done. Well done. I'm honestly I'm taking mental notes for my own shows right now. So
So ladies and gentlemen, there you go. That was Dave HELMAN. Absolute legend. Go and follow him on Twitter. He's a very funny man. Go and check out his articles, Gut Feeling, lots of podcasts, Mailbag, all on DallasCowboys.com. Even if you're not Reddit, our Cowboys. Yeah. Shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for coming on, Dave. You're an absolute hero. Appreciate it.
This was a ton of fun, y'all. If you want to have me back, just holler.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
100%.